Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Kubernetes. Kubernetes is developed by Google and it is an open source platform that automates container operations. It eliminates many of the manual processes involved in deploying and scaling containerized applications. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Kubernetes will be absolutely clear to you.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
So now we are going to learn about the Kubernetes. Okay. We are going to learn about the Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is very important and very popular tool in today's world in terms of Kubernetes container world actually. So we will spend entire remaining 3 days, almost 2.5 days with Kubernetes. So if you look at this here, agenda for this session for the today and tomorrow would be to find it out how Kubernetes will help you to build a better health, better wealth and happiness. Health, wealth and happiness means health for all of us. Okay, there is some. Okay, so here Kubernetes will help you to get health, wealth and happiness. Health for all of us who's working as an engineer, wealth for the organization and happiness for both of us. So this is what we have. So this is a Kubernetes. So we need to understand how can it be possible how Kubernetes can help us to build a health, wealth and happiness. So for that we need to know what is Kubernetes. So we need to understand Kubernetes architecture. We need to install Kubernetes, working with the pod deployment and so guys, what is Kubernetes? And if I look at what is Kubernetes, these 4 questions comes into my mind. Where did it come from? What does it do? What does the name mean? And why do we have it? These 4 questions, if we answer, we'll come to know what is Kubernetes. Simple, right? So Kubernetes is born in Google. Yeah. Kubernetes is a tool which is coming from Google, and it got donated to CNCF in 2004 and it's become open source. Now this tool, Kubernetes, is written in Golang. Source code you can find it at github.com, Kubernetes/Kubernetes, and the website is kubernetes.io, and the Slack and meetups groups are also there officially, so you can check it out. So yes, this is where did it come from? So it's come from the Google. Now DNA is matching. Kubernetes DNA is matching with Bog and Omega. Now the question is, what is a Bog and Omega? So guys, Bog and Omega is a proprietary tool of Google. And on this platform, think about it. Just imagine, visualize that. On this platform itself, Google runs their entire infrastructure. So just you can imagine the kind of role of Kubernetes now. So Borg is something which is proprietary, Omega is proprietary, which is used by the Google. So they run on this platform. So basically, Kubernetes has also something similar capability. Yes, Kubernetes also has something very similar capability, and because of that, and one more thing, because of the Borg, Kubernetes is also coming from. So we could perceive like the DNA is matching. The feature wise, we don't have any comparison, but the DNA is matching with Borg and Omega. Okay. Now, what it stands for? So what is the meaning of Kubernetes? So which Kubernetes, it's a basically Greek word. This is called Helmsman. So what is the meaning of Helmsman? So the meaning of Helmsman is that the person who steers a ship. Understand that? So that's the meaning of Kubernetes, Helmsman. Now think about it. The size of ship. It can be a small fishing boat also, very small, few meters, and then it can be aircraft carrier also, size of, or petroleum vessels also, transport vessels. You know that is very huge, large, 600 meters, 700 meters or something like that. So look at the size of ship, whether it's large or small. But all the ships is handled by only one person, is managed by only one person. That's called Helmsman, right? So Kubernetes is also like that. Kubernetes, no matter your data center, think about it. Now, when you are in a Kubernetes sessions, you always act and behave like your operations guys. Yes, your operations. You are in operations. You are in a production. You are in SRE, site reliability engineering. So think about it. Your data center, the number of applications you are running in the one node, one application, or 1,000 applications, Kubernetes can manage it. Similar way, the Helmsman can manage such a large ship also. Same way, Kubernetes also can manage it. One application running in a data center or 2,000 applications. But where? In the container. Okay. So that's the meaning of the Kubernetes. In short, we call it KS. So guys, ultimately, yes, it's born in Google, donated to CNCF in 2014, open source. First release has happened in July 2015, written in Google and source code and rest of the information. So what is Kubernetes? I hope you have understood. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions? Now the question is, why Kubernetes? Why? Because there should be some reason for it, right? Why we need Kubernetes? Correct? Why we need it? So this is important question, and the answer is, containers bring scalability challenges. That's the first statement. And second statement is, we are starting to view the data center as one company. Yes. So these are the two reasons we have. So we need Kubernetes, simple. Why we need Kubernetes? Why we are not happy with the Docker? So these are the reasons. Containers bring the scalability challenges. And we are starting to view the data center as a computer. So these are the reasons we need Kubernetes. Now, these two statements is very vague actually, so we need to understand. Let's try to understand this. in simple way. So think about it. You have to tell me these inputs. So now let's say you are in a production server and you have only one host right now. And when you want to run the containers, 1 container, 2 container, 3 container, 4 container, capacity is done. Who will manage the container, guys? Who manages the container? Docker. Now you want 10 more containers. Then what you will do? You want 10 more containers. What you will do?
We'll create containers.
No, but the capacity is gone, right, for the host machine. You cannot create more than that 4 containers. That's the limitation. So what you will do? Scalability. Scale. Remember, containers has scalability challenge. So that is the thing. So what you will do now? You want to run more containers. What you will do?
Add more machines.
Okay. Just with simple logic. Add more machines. 1 machine, 2 machine, 100 machines. Run more containers. These containers will be managed by Docker. 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 Right? So here, container is been managed by Docker. You know that very well. You have spent 2.5 days on this. The question is, who will manage multiple Docker? Think. Who will manage multiple Docker? Do we have any Docker? Have you come across any Docker capabilities where Docker can manage multiple Docker host? In the session, Docker Engine has no capabilities. So what do we do in this case? You want to manage, that's the reason I said, right? Here, containers bring scalability challenge. So you want to scale 1 to 100 nodes. You want to run containers. Why you love containers? Because it is faster. It is consuming less CPU, less RAM, and less storage. But at the same time, you have to scale for the production. I'm saying for the production. So when you scale, how do you manage multiple Docker? That's the first problem. Guys, second problem, let's understand this with the Docker containers. Now you know that this container you cannot access from outside. Let's say load balancer. Okay. Now when I say load balancer, probably you have to understand that many of you might not be able to understand. So just for be safer side, I'm just drawing this picture. So this is me. I hit in my laptop on the browser www.devoschool.com. So when I hit, it goes to where? DNS server, which is maintained by most of the ISP provider. Correct? Now this DNS server has an IP address. Then travel to this IP address. This IP address, do you think is a one machine? No. It's a load balancer. Load balancer of how many machines? Hundreds of machines. It can be physical machine. It can be virtual machine. It can be container. Okay, now it's in the world of container, we have to have a container. So this load balancer will load balance what? These containers. Now for that to load balance, the port number has to be same. Remember, load balancer, network load balancer, you know that, right? Port number has to be same. IP address has to be different. So now come back to the last image. Look at this here. You know that containers you cannot access directly from the load balancer now. No, you cannot access. So what do we do? What we do in the container world?
Expose the port.
Right, you know that. We expose the port. So guys, this port you expose to 80. Now, will you be able to expose with 80 now at the node port? No, 81. This is 82. See this. Now load balancer will only balance one because it needs the same port, right? So this is waste, again this is waste. So see here, think about it. You have migrated to container from virtual machine to save CPU and RAM, and now you are not able to more containers over there. Because ultimately, if the load balancer is not accessing those containers, how the end user will access? Think, see here. So, how end user will access? So guys, this Docker is not helping us. Think, read my line. Docker is not helping us, Docker engine is not helping us to make this container accessible directly to load balancer. All container, all, I said without put proxy. Because if you proxy, then you cannot do at one go, right? So not helping us. Not helping us. So how can that be possible? How container would be accessible to load balancer? Do we have anything in Docker? No. No. So you saw that first problem. Who will manage a multiple Docker host? Now, how can you access the container by the load balancer? Second problem, there are so many problems with the containers. One more problem I would like to add here is, let's say this container. See, the requirement for the production is you want to run at any given point of time 100 containers which will hold 1000 traffic. Simple logic, sir. Okay, now your performance load time is expected 1 second. 1 second. Now guys, understand that due to some reason, you are out of 100 containers, let's say 30 containers has gone up or down. Maybe due to some reason. This node got disappeared, this container got disappeared because of some hardware issues, software issues, RAM issues, CPU issues, permission issues, any issues you may have, network issues. So what will happen? Your response time for 100 users, 1000 users will become, earlier it was 1 second expected, it might be 1.3 seconds. That means in a load time will be very less, your site will be showing loading very slow. I'm just giving you example. So you know that when the site will become slow, then what is the end user response? They will stop browsing your website, they will close. So now the question is, if it is, I need hundreds of container at any given point of time, it should be 100, it should not be 80. So are you, see, let's say if many times if you are working in the production, then many times you've been called in the late night, early morning, you have to work overnight, you have to work in the weekends to make the production issues resolved. You know that. Health impact. Correct? So now do we have any mechanism in which if that there's some pod and some node, some container and some node getting destroyed, automatically they should add it. Automatically those pods should be created. If this pod got, this container got deleted, automatically the new container should be created automatically. Is there any way who will manage your desire with actual? Is there any way? I have a desire to run 100 containers. At any given point of the time, it should not be 101, 99 also. Who will manage it? Do we have a Docker that capabilities? No. So guys, that is the reason I said containers bring scalability challenge and we need some other tool to solve it out if you want to enjoy a containers. Everyone have understood that, the statement?
Yes.
Now guys, one more thing here. We are starting to view the data center as one computer. Why? Think about it. Very simple concept. Here, you have a 4 node, 1 node, 2 node, 3 node, 4 node. I'm talking about one particular node. In this particular node, you have a 2 or 4 and you have a 16 GB hard disk. You have 2-3 hard disk consolidated. So you tell me Docker your storage, RAM and CPU as a one compute unit, not 3 compute units. Of course, Docker will view one compute unit and allocate the resources through the C groups. Docker will view entire computer resources as a one compute unit and allocate the resources to the containers. Correct, no? So this way, now if you are running a container in the large data center in the multiple host, do we have any tool? Think this. Do we have any tool which can believe no matter how many nodes I am having, how many nodes means how many servers I am having in the cluster, how many servers I am having in the whole data centers, it should still believe as a one compute unit. Perceive as a one compute unit. Is there any way? Guys, these are the two challenges we had in with the containers to bring at the data center and production level. And now who's solving it? Kubernetes. So guys, Kubernetes can help you to all these things. Kubernetes can view entire data center, no matter if it's one machine or 1,000 machine, as a one compute unit. One compute unit. The same way Docker view entire your node machine resources as a one compute unit, and it can also help you to
Rajesh, I'm not sure if it's just for me, but I hear some static when we talk.
Yeah, I'm also hearing that. Actually, it's kind of a disturbance.
Let me readjust my mic. Let me readjust my mic. I'm not changing any setup while talking. It's same as it is. So I don't know. So can I be a little bit far from laptop? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is intermittent actually, Rajesh. So we used to get it earlier too, but now it's a little frequent.
Okay. Let me switch it up and the same setup. Nothing changed, no modifications. So guys, it is good.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah. So
your voice is clear, Rajesh, but sometimes we're getting noise.
okay, not sure to be honest actually, because this setup I'm using without a change. So if now you are getting fine, then it should be fine, I guess. I'm just guessing. So can we go start now? Is it okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So yeah. So now guys, when you are in a Kubernetes, you have to change your mindset also. Now you have understood what is Kubernetes and why we need Kubernetes. Now the second thing, you have to change your mindset also. It's all about pets versus cattle. Okay. See here. When you have a pets, you love them, you take care of them, you shower them, you feed them, you treat them, take to the doctor, and you do all this special treatment. Same thing you did with the container now from last 2.5 days. What you did? You created a container. You started a container. You stop the container, you remove the container, you got inside the container, you troubleshoot the container, you see the health of the container, you monitor the container, you did everything inside the container for the container. It's like a special treatment. But when you are in a cattle business, just imagine you are the business owner of cattle. Think about it. And you have to deliver 100 liters of milk every day to your client. 100 liters of milk every day. Now, let's say if some cattle are not performing well, they cannot deliver the milk. So what you do? Would you tell your client, okay, wait, my cattle is not working well. He cannot deliver the milk today. So you will have to adjust with 90 or 80 liters only. Can you tell to your clients like that? No, you cannot tell this to the client. So what you would do? Because the moment you say like this, your clients will distract and get into the other business owner. So what you would do? So you will simply replace the cattle. You will the cattle who is not performing well, simply you will replace the cattle with a new cattle who can perform and give you the 100 liters of milk, because your requirement to the client is not a 99 liters, not 100 liters, or 101 liters. It's 100 liters. So same way, guys, when you are working in the production server, okay, when you are working in the production server and you have millions of visitors coming to your business website, and suddenly, and your website is running on hundreds of boxes, and if let's say 10 boxes are not performing well, then what you will do? Would you say to your end user, wait, don't access my website. Wait, my server is down, I'm working on it. No. What you will do, you will add immediately 10 new servers. You will add immediately 10 new servers who should be healthy, who should be working and maintain the traffic. So same way you have to change your mindset, guys. In the world of Kubernetes, if something is not working, no problem. We'll immediately replace that. Replacement I'm talking, not fixing. Not fixing. Because fixing things will be done in the Docker session. So who will do that? You will do that? Actually, no. Kubernetes itself will do that. You will not be called in the midnight, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock stating that your production is down. Kubernetes will do on behalf of you. You just have to tell, I want this much. That's all. So guys, you are in the cattle business in this session. So set your mindset like that. So whatever the troubleshooting, special taking care of the stuff you wanted to do, like containers, playing with the containers and all, you did it already in 2.5 days of session. So please set your mindset accordingly. So ultimately, guys, what is Kubernetes then? I've been discussing about it. So guys, these are the official keywords. Kubernetes is a container orchestrator. Orchestrate the container at the large scale for the production. So with the help of the Kubernetes, you can orchestrate the scalability challenges, whatever you have, you can overcome through this container orchestrator tool, which is called Kubernetes. Guys, Kubernetes is also workload placement tool. Now the question is, what is a workload placement? See, in the cluster, typically you have more than 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 servers. So now how you will decide which node should run which container and how many containers will be run in each node? You can customize it. I'm not saying you cannot customize. You can customize it. But primary role of the Kubernetes is also to place the work when I say run the container in the node and balance the load of the cluster, that will be done. Yeah, when it comes to the customization, everything can be customized. So that's a different topics altogether. So here Kubernetes will decide which node should run which container and how many containers I want to run it. That will be decided by Kubernetes workload placement. Now, third point which we have is infrastructure abstraction. What does that mean? Infrastructure abstraction means, see, you don't have to know the complexity of the infrastructure, but still it is working. So who's hiding all these infrastructure complexities? Infrastructure complexity. From the front end, it will look like, okay, it's so simple, but someone is hiding that all the complexity of the managing the entire infrastructure beneath, and that is Kubernetes. So this will make your task easier, and same time help you to manage a desired state. Desired state means, I told you, right, 100 liters of milk means. So if you wanted 100 containers to be running any given point of time, so who will manage? Kubernetes. Will not run 101 and same time will not be 99. Any time, whatever you desire, it will be keep on running that many number of containers. And this is Kubernetes. Some of the benefits of the Kubernetes as well. Here you have a speed of deployment. Yes, you have seen that. Containers, how fast you can create if you have a images and all. So speed of deployment. So see guys, you know that big billion sales, Amazon Prime sales and all these sales, right? Just imagine one use case scenario. Till 12 o'clock, the sales is not running. Okay, think about it. They have to change the billions of product catalog with the sales offers and all within a second. How can do the change? So they can have two things. One thing is like a blue-green deployment. That means one before sales, one number of servers, and after that, once you become a 12 o'clock, it will become another servers. That's the one thing. That way, your cost of the running servers will be too high. You have to create a two setup actually. That's not good. So what do we do in this case? So here, Kubernetes can help you to deploy the new changes all the time within a matter of seconds and without even a millisecond of downtime. That is the power of it. And when you deploy, it can be 1,000 container deploy, 10,000 container deploy, it's up to you. So new deployments, new version getting upgraded and all, you get a huge speed action. So your downtime will be almost nil. And that is done by Kubernetes. So roll out, you can do that. That's also quickly. You can roll back also you can do that also quickly. And also same time, it hides the complexity in the cluster. So all this, how it works and all, it hides that everything in the cluster. With that, Kubernetes is moving fast. So the best way to be in touch with all the new innovations along with the Kubernetes is to keep practicing it. That's how. Else it's getting lots of things getting deprecated very fast. With that, we should understand how Kubernetes works. Basically, okay, we understood what is Kubernetes, then we understood why Kubernetes, we changed the mindset also as per the operations. We know that all the benefit of the Kubernetes, we understood that, but the question is still, we have how it works, what is the architecture, what are the components of Kubernetes, basically how this magic is happening, which is making us healthy, wealthy and happy. Because we are not doing anything, but Kubernetes is doing everything for us. An entire production they are managing. How? So we need to understand this. And that we can understand with the Kubernetes architecture. So guys, before that, do we have any questions? Do you have any questions?
Thanks for watching. If you liked our Kubernetes session so far, please enroll for our channel membership $399 plan to get access of all the parts. Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps-related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.